They called him Baba, not just a name, a whole feeling. A man who carried the weight of the nation's hope and never once stopped believing in the dream of a better Kenya.
I took a trip on a sailing ship. When I reached Jamaica, I made a stop,
Born on January 7, 1945 in Kisumu, Raila Amolo Odinga came into a world still fighting for its voice. His father Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was already a legend, but Raila was determined to write his story. By the way, did you know that he studied engineering in East Germany, far from home but close to purpose? He learned structure, systems, precision, lessons he would later use not just in business, but in building movements. In the late 70s and 80s, Raila became part of the fight for multi-party democracy. It wasn't trending, it wasn't safe, but it was necessary. He was detained, tortured, isolated for years. Yet even behind bars, his voice never broke. He came out stronger, more focused. He joined the calls for change, stood up against dictatorship, and became a symbol of resilience. When Kenya finally opened up to the multi-party politics in the 90s, he was at the center, not as a power seeker, but as a believer. Raila Odinga ran for presidency 5 times. 5. Each time, he mobilized millions, inspired hope, and still faced loss. But instead of bitterness, he chose belief. Instead of chaos, he chose peace. That's rare power. He became prime minister in 2008 during one of Kenya's darkest moments, the post-election violence. It wasn't victory, it was duty. He helped hold the nation together when it could have torn apart. To his community, Raila wasn't just a leader, he was identity. The Luo nation saw him as pride, the hustlers in the streets saw him as hope, the youth saw him as proof, and one person can stand up to systems and survive. He preached peace, lived resilience, embodied love for people. Even when he was tired, you could see fire in his eyes still. And then, in October 15, 2025 in Kochi, India, during what was meant to be a simple morning walk, Baba's journey came to an end. He collapsed and was rushed to hospital. He didn't make it. Kenya stopped this morning. Silence filled the air. Flags went half-mast. The world paid tribute to the man who spent his whole life fighting for others. But even in death, Raila Amolo Odinga didn't lose, because the seeds he planted, unity, courage, voice, they live on. In every young Kenyan who dares to speak, in every hustler who dreams big, in every generation that refuses to give up. He chased purpose. He showed that leadership isn't about titles. It's about standing tall when others fall silent. To the very end, he carried one message: peace, love, and unity. And that's how Kenya will remember Baba, the man who never stopped believing.
I took a trip on a sailing ship. When I reached Jamaica, I made a stop, but I'm sad to say I'm on my way. I won't be back for many a days.